I was so pissed. I paid off the full balance. I was like, close the card down. Close the card down. I don't want a credit card ever again. Hello there, guys. My name is Patricia. Welcome to The Break. We're over here giving you the tools and resources to learn, grow, navigate life like a boss, and make money moves in the process. I hope you are doing well. So I am sitting here, shock, horror, a millionaire, and talking about financial stuff with the worst kind of credit ever. My credit score is fair and I'm horrified. Seeing that like line at the yellowy orange stage, I don't know, it just reminds me of something I won't talk about. And to be honest, it's my fault. It's my fault because I haven't asked you guys to hit the like button. That's why my credit is fair, guys. That's why. But on a serious note, that is not the case. I know exactly why my credit is not green, good, gold star, excellent. And I know exactly what to do about it. And I don't think there's any shame in not having the perfect credit, but it is really important to have a plan to fix that. So today I'm gonna go through my credit score, share with you why it's at fair, but also provide more information about credit scores, how to make them better, and why it actually matters. I've seen in my comments and I've seen in my DMs and messages that a lot of people don't have the best credit and they don't really know what to do about it and they want someone to talk about it. So I'm doing that today. But I'll let you guys know I am not a financial advisor. Let's just call this edutainment today. If you actually need financial help, please go to a professional. But I've definitely got some info for you. So first of all, what is a credit score? A credit score is a number that is associated with you based on your credit history that is given to you by one of the credit referencing agencies such as Experian or TransUnion. It is a reflection of how risky you are when it comes to paying back your financial liabilities. It basically lets any lender or any financial provider or product provider whether or not you're someone who is worth betting on. Should they give you that thing or not? Your score is calculated based on a number of different factors and information that is out there about yourself. And this is all put onto your credit record, and it includes information around your previous borrowings, your previous repayments, your utilities, how regularly you pay those back, your phone bill, how much credit you actually use currently, and there's some public data around your general spending. So if you have a bankruptcy or CCJs or anything out there about you, that is all sitting there on your credit record. I know there are some people who are crazy in this school of thought that, oh, I don't really need to have a good credit score. It doesn't really matter. Like, no, there are definitely times where having good credit is important. Your credit matters, particularly when you are trying to borrow money. Even the rich borrow money. The rich use money that isn't their own to make more money. This is the wise way that rich people use money. And I actually did a video on how the rich use money, which I will link up here. But if you're trying to get a mortgage, you're gonna need a decent credit rating. If you're trying to pick up a credit card, you're gonna need a good credit rating. If you're trying to rent out a home to live in, you're gonna need a decent credit rating. Things such as mobile phones and insurance, all of these things have an impact on your credit rating, and they look at your credit rating to determine if they're actually going to give you what you need. Having a good credit rating can actually save you money. The reason why it will save you money is because lenders will borrow money to you at a lower rate of interest and also borrow you more money because you are considered less risky. And a bad credit report in the long run can be even more expensive. And if they even do borrow you money, they are going to borrow you money at a ridiculously high rate of interest. And I think this is really predatory and really bad when you see the payday loan companies. They will give money to people who are struggling and who need money at the most ridiculous rate of interest that actually puts them in even more debt. It's almost like a vicious cycle when you have bad credit. You need money, you need to borrow money, and then the money you borrow costs you even more than someone who's got good credit. It's not great. It's not a good look, no. But your credit rating matters particularly to the lenders because there's a lot of evidence to show that if you've borrowed badly in the past, you're gonna borrow badly in the future. Another thing that people don't realize impacts their credit rating, which I think was one of the biggest things for me, is that having no borrowing is also not a good look. You are an unknown entity to the system. If you've never borrowed money, how do they know that you're gonna pay it back? There's no evidence to show whether or not you're good or bad of borrowing and repaying. So when it comes to my history with credit, I always thought that credit was really bad. So I always had a bad feeling about it. I never wanted to be in debt. I never wanted to borrow. I was afraid of credit cards. I was afraid of getting a car on lease because I just had this idea that credit was really bad. And I like the idea of, you know, using only the money that you have, but it isn't always the wisest thing to do because having no borrowing and no credit isn't good, as you can see, for your credit report. So as I said, I recently checked my credit on Credit Karma, and my credit score is currently fair. And I think this is a great example for people to see. I am a rating of 597 out of 710. What I love about this website is it shows to me what is the reason as to why my credit is low. And actually it's because I don't have any credit cards. I have no credit limits. That's one of the best ways that I can improve my credit. Basically, my credit is bad because I don't have a credit card. Mind blowing. However, I make payments. I don't know what this is about. You last missed a payment to Santander 2 months ago. I have no clue what that is. Okay. My credit utilization is 0. That's because I have no credit. And I've been on the electoral roll for 3 years and 7 months, which isn't that long because I've actually moved house in the scheme of things, and that could be having a little bit of an impact on my credit. I haven't opened any new accounts, and I have had my mobile phone contract for 11 years. But to be honest, it's trash. I'm changing anyway. And I also have a mortgage as well. So my only outstanding debt that I have is my mortgage as well as my car. I have a mortgage of £644,000 as well as my car, which is about £39,000. I do not have any credit cards. I only have those 2 streams of credit, which I have a feeling is the reason as to why my credit is fair. What you'll also see is that I have a couple of closed bank accounts, and I had 1 credit card, my MBNA credit card. This was a credit card that when I first started working, so I used to work for Merrill Lynch and Bank of America, or Merrill Lynch Bank of America, we were given a company credit card and I had no clue how to use it. And I remember that I put a few things on it, and it was only when I couldn't find my other card that I used that credit card. And then inevitably, maybe I had like £400 or that I had spent on that credit card. This is how dumb I was, right? And I didn't pay it. I forgot it was on there, right? Because I wasn't used to having a credit card. Lo and behold, that actually had a negative impact on me because I forgot there was an outstanding balance. I don't even think I was making the minimum payments towards the card. And then I think at some point in time, I looked at my credit and like, there's something wrong with your credit. I was like, what the hell? And it was this one measly card that didn't even have £1,000 on it that actually was impacting me. I was so pissed. I paid off the full balance. I was like, close the card down. Close the card down. I don't want a credit card ever again. I was so shocked by it. So looking at my credit, it's pretty boring. I only have 2 outstanding balances on, and I've paid everything besides that 1 credit card like 10 years ago that traumatized me. But I want to work on making that good, and I'm going to share exactly with you guys how that can be done. Also, my husband has perfect credit. I don't know how, I don't know why, but his credit is amazing, and I'm actually competing with him to have like perfect credit. Okay, how do we do this together? So how do you improve your credit score? In a couple of easy steps. Number 1, you need to register on the electoral roll. That is so that there is evidence of where you live and that you are a voter. Yes, it has a huge impact if you are not registered because the credit agencies want to verify where you live, and it also helps to avoid fraud. Lenders do use the electoral roll to verify who you are and to verify your address. So if you're not registered on the electoral roll at a permanent address, just do it now. It's easy. And vote. This sounds very obvious, but don't miss or be late on any payments that you have. Don't make the mistake that I made. I had the resources. I just forgot. That's so silly. And so this is the concept of automation. Set up a direct debit to make sure that you're paying at least the minimum every single month, so you take away any excessive thought around it. If you have a credit card right now, you don't want to have to log in and be like, okay, make sure I pay off my balance. Just pay the minimum every single time. And then when you get any extra money, just pay it off as fast as you possibly can. This is an underestimated one, but it's to check your credit file. The credit referencing agencies make mistakes. They can put someone else's debt accidentally on your file. They may have the wrong information about an existing debt. You can reach out and be like, no, this isn't right. And you need to actually have a look and take control of your finances, because you can't trust the system to determine what your situation is. So go out, check it out, say, oh, I've paid this off, or maybe you haven't, but it's worthwhile looking at what's on your file and making sure that it's right. Before trying to apply for any more credit, eliminate the old credit. If you have a lot of outstanding balances or outstanding debts, and then you want to try and apply for more, just hold fire. Try and pay off what you currently have. And when it comes to picking which debt to eliminate, you really want to look at at the ones that have the highest rate of interest first. So things such as mortgages, obviously they're larger amounts, but they have a lower rate of interest. If you have a debt that has an interest of 29.9% APR, get rid of it. Get rid of it. That debt is not cute. That debt is not helpful. And so you really want to attack that bit by bit. Next, actively build good credit. Yes, it's like exercising. You want to build up that muscle. And this is something that I personally want to work on doing. So one way to do that is to take out a credit card. I'm not going to lie, it makes me a bit nervous, but I have to remember that the rich definitely do use credit cards and use them wisely. Having a credit card can help you build up a good credit history. And there are cards, for instance, a credit building card. Please be aware that if you do take a specific credit builder card out, they are higher risk because the interest rates on them are so high. So you have to be very careful on exactly how you use them when you use them. Do not take cash out on these cards. Do not use these on frivolous things that you don't need. Use them on things such as utilities or food, like groceries, not Deliveroo and Uber Eats. And make sure you pay the balance off in full every single time. Now, if you do choose to get a credit card, ensure that you keep your credit utilization low. And this refers to how much money you have available to yourself on a credit card. Let's assume that you have £1,000 on it, and how much you choose to use regularly. If you've got an £1,000 credit card or a £10,000 credit card, don't use all of it every single time. Try and use 10% of it or 20% of it. That is a good form of credit utilization because you don't need to borrow the full amount of the credit every time. It's so weird. It's a little bit of a game, but you have to borrow the money, but don't use all the money that you borrow. Only use a little bit of the money that you borrow because that is a good look. As a rule of thumb, try to use around 25% of the amount of credit that you have available to you on a credit card. This shows that you have good utilization and thus impacts your credit in a very positive way. I mean, we all want to do this. Avoid any CCJs and bankruptcy. These go on public record. However, lots of millionaires have gone bankrupt 2 or 3 times over. But for the everyday people, just don't do it. I know sometimes bankruptcy seems like it's the easier option if you just can't get out of the debt. But remember, it will impact you for the long run. It may mean that you may never be able to borrow again, and it will have a knock-on effect. It impacts your credit score and it will stay on your record for at least 6 to 7 years. One thing to know about credit is that other people's records can impact you. So if you live with someone or you're married to someone, their debt is also kind of registered under your debt. If you are financially linked to somebody on a particular project, such as a joint mortgage, they will actually assess you and them together when you're looking at new credit. So make sure you're aware of anyone that you're having links to. Let's not be unequally financially linked to deadbeats. I'm sorry, but no, if your credit rating is bad, it's going to drag you down. So avoid doing that or making financial decisions which will combine 2 people or where one person has to carry all the weight. It can actually bring both of you down. Having a good credit score is nice. It is nice when it comes to lending and borrowing and, you know, just around the table you want to say, I've got great credit. But there are other factors and it's not the complete end of the world because a lot of companies have their own internal different credit rating systems. One lender might reject you because of your credit score, but another lender may be able to give you money, but the rates may not be as favorable as you may need. There are other factors, particularly when it comes to getting a mortgage, such as loan to value, your income, your cost of living, that can impact how much you can borrow and not just your credit rating. And an interesting thing to note that sometimes when a lender is looking at your credit score, they're looking at what is on your credit report, not just what the number looks like. What kind of borrowing do you have? What kind of spending have you had? And it's not just about this arbitrary figure or the fact that my credit is fair. That's not all they look at. They're looking at some of the other key things that are on there. So I hope that makes it clear for any of you guys who are trying to think about improving your credit. Please do leave any comments in the description bar below if you are on your own financial journey. If your credit isn't amazing or if your credit is, please don't feel embarrassed or ashamed about what your status is. It's just a number. And yeah, I'm telling you right now, my credit is fair. Okay, so we're in this together. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and in the meantime, I will catch you all later. Bye.